Sometimes I get tired and I don't want to be, but then there's other times that just hanging out with friends and family, playing games, watching movies, just hanging out together is really, really enjoyable. Anyone agree? Right, so I was at my sister-in-law's house the other day, and we were sitting there at the table, and right in the middle of the table is this metal basket, and the metal basket was filled with apples. And they were delicious looking. I mean, I was like, look at those apples. And I was just like looking at them, and I was like, I've got to have one of those apples. And so I grabbed it, and it was completely fake. But it looked so real.
People still do that?
Yeah, they do that. She does that, and they don't look like real apples. And so, yeah, it reminded me a little bit about what I talked about last week, though. Which is, if you remember, that we are the apple of God's eye. You can put up our first slide, our first picture. I'm doing a series no, not this one, the picture. Oh, there's the picture, perfect. We're doing a series about I'm loving it, okay? And I started last week and we talked a little bit about, oh boy, how much God really loves you. If you weren't here, God loves you, He calls you the apple of His eye. Such desire. He thinks you're lovable. He thinks you're lovely. He thinks you're worth loving. I mean, He's just has that desire for us. He's all about that. He's all about you. And sometimes that's easy to forget because as I sat down to even think about what I was going to talk about this week, I was like, what did I talk about last week? Like if I don't know? Like I'm the guy who was speaking about it, if I don't know? And I'm like, how are they? So I'm just reminding you, okay? As a reminder of myself. All right, so I have a little bit, we're going to be doing different stuff each week that we get together here and I have something to hand out for you guys. But in your basket, there is a card, all right? And I'm going to have you a little exercise that I want you to do, not as a table, but as individuals. So look around in your basket. There's a card there, as well as some pens. And for those that are sitting here, here we go. There you go, Michael. Alright, if there's not enough, you'll have to share somehow, take notes. Alright. Can I get...
Yeah, here's some pins.
Thank you.
Yep.
Alright, so what I'd like for you to do first on the top, where it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the top section, I'd like for you to write down, look at your life, maybe this last week, or this last month, or last quarter, or whatever. Where do you spend most of your time? Okay? Where do you spend most of the time of your life doing those things? What are those top 5 things? When you stop and look at your week, look at your life, what are the top 5 things you spend most of your time doing? Okay? Anyone have any questions about that? Top 5 things you spend most of your time doing.
Just pull it all out.
Hey, does anyone have any extras at their table that they've not used? Oh, Nick, there's one over here.
That's over here.
I'm thinking anybody.
And really, that's all left of last week.
Anyone need more time? Okay, let's just wait.
Why did
No, I guess no one raised their hand, so you got it. All right, so you figured that one out pretty easy. All right, now the next list, what I'd like for you to write down are the 5 things that you think are most important to life. Okay? The 5 things that you think, when it comes to life, are the most important for you. Okay? And you're not going to be sharing these things, so whatever you put's all good. Unless, and no cheating. No cheating. Some of you are cheating. Some of you are cheaters. Bill, do you need one or you got one? All right. He's got it in his head. He's cheating off you. I saw him. That's what I was saying. It's all good.
What should he be saying?
Who needs more time? One?
I always
Couple?
need more time.
You want me to get up and do a Trump speech or anything while we're
Oh,
waiting?
we're talking about it, right?
Huh?
Trump's time is
Yeah. We can do a political thing.
All right. So looking at those 2 lists, one of them lists you would title desires. Oh, that's not me. Is that Michael? Michael, thanks.
Ice cream for
I
everybody.
love your calls.
Okay, now what is it?
All right, so the list. You have 2 lists. One list would be. I'll say, I'm just not going to tell you, you kind of determine it at first, all right?
Yeah.
So one of the lists has to do with desires, and the other list has to do with values. Okay? Now, a value is something that you do. A desire is something that you wish to do, or you want to do, right? It's a desire. All right, so I'll let you figure out which list, as you wrote things down, which ones were actually your values and which ones were desires. Because when I do this list, sometimes, I can easily go, okay, I drive a lot. I drive a lot, I have coffee with people, I do a lot of different things. And then the other one has to do like with the deeper values, which are prayer maybe, as we stop and look at things, maybe spend more time with someone, time with people, reading the Bible, maybe praying. I don't know what those other deeper ones were for you. What I'd love for you to be able to do in life is to move from one where you're just doing life and doing the things that, just doing life to a life that I'm living out some values. Okay, even if I'm doing those things, that's kind of the purpose of it. I want you to answer a question for me, and you don't have to write it down, or you can. But if you're going to complete the sentence, how would you complete it? My aim in life is... No, my aim in life, right now, for where I'm at, and wherever, my aim in life is to... You fill in the blank. There's no blank actually to fill out on your paper. All right, there is no blank to fill out, but if you were to do that, my aim in life right now is to do what? You can write it on the back. One word, maybe 2 words, maybe a sentence. My aim in life is to do this or that. To me, it seems like the aim is the frame. The aim in life is the frame in which you live your life. And so, hey, if I want to just have fun. If I want to have fun, if that's my aim in life, then whenever someone asks me to do something or whatever, I'm going to do just that, right? Because I want to have fun. So whatever your aim in life is what you're kind of going to do. Right? And I think it determines everything. If my aim is security, then I'm going to do everything that revolves around security. My conversations, my relationships, our future, it's all being around security. If that's the real aim. Does that make sense? Okay. I think everybody has a dominant value or whatever that might be, but if you look at what your aim is right now, that's important. Lately, I'd say since, okay, I'll be honest, it was like last week. Right? Last week, I was really busy. Super uber stinking busy. And I looked at my calendar and I looked at what I was doing, and it kind of hit me. And a story in the Bible hit me when the church was starting to grow, and then the people needed the leaders to start doing other things, and they're like, hey, hold on a second, we need other people to be involved so that we can spend our time in Bible study and prayer, the ministry of the Word. And I looked at my schedule and I was like, wow, that's really minimal on there. This is horrible. And so I was like, I just need to, and I had this little list. I wanted to have more peace. I wanted to be more relaxed. I wanted to do what I was supposed to do. And so that's how I did maybe the last couple of weeks, really much. All right? Just trying to be in the moment and walk in the atmosphere of heaven and be kind to people. Those things. But then as I started looking at what I was talking about today, I realized that none of that might even matter. Might not even matter. First scripture comes up. What kind of scripture I'm looking at today? But now faith, hope, love abide, these three. But the greatest of these is love. Right? Pursue love, yet desire earnestly spiritual gifts, but especially that you may prophesy. I'm really going to be focusing on the love aspect today, and it's fitting because Valentine's Day is tomorrow, right? Who loves Valentine's Day? Raise your hand. Wow, you people are so unloving. Nobody raise their hand. Who loves Valentine's Day? It's a pagan holiday. No. All right. Right? So, wow, okay. The one day in the whole year we talk just about love like that, and a couple people go, yeah, I really love that day. All right, I'm glad we're talking about this then. So, looking at that, you know, the greatest of these is love. Right? If the greatest is love, it seems like God's put us here to do a couple of different things. Hope, faith, love. And so if I were to kind of look at things, if I'm loving it, what am I loving about life? If that's the single most greatest thing, if that kind of should be my aim of life, which is love, what does that look like? Okay? Love. Because love is not about an accomplishment or about how much we do or how much we give or how successful we are or how great our kids ended up. That's not the aim. But love is the aim. That hopefully is the motivating factor behind all the things that we do. Okay? Last week I talked a little bit, at least there's 4 rules that we'll go over this week because there's 4 weeks in the month at least. So that love is unconditional. But to me, I can say the second thing is that love is really the best, it's the best use of your life. If you make love the number one thing, you'll be like, I want love to be the single most important thing of my life, knowing that it's the one thing that matters forever and ever. It's the one thing that stays with me. Everything else is gone. No matter how much I love my phone, or I love my TV, or I love my house, or I love where I'm at right now and my place in life, it all goes away. But love doesn't. Right? It's the one thing you can always have. So it seems to me like God wants us to make love to be the number one thing that we're focusing on. And as I was looking at it, I'm like, but why? Why? I mean, I heard Travis when I was out for a while, and Travis was up, he was talking about love. Did a sermon on love. Does anyone remember it? I remember it. It was great.
Be on YouTube.
Right? But why? What is it? I mean, what's that? Because if you don't know the why, then why? I mean, otherwise it's just me telling you again, you need to do something else. You just need to be more loving. And that's not what I want to get across to you. Because the last thing we need to hear, again, is something else that you need to do without having a great reason for it. Last week I went into the bank. Seth has been saving his money. And as he saved his money, we saved our money. And we told him that when he finds a car, we would pay half for it. And so he found himself a little toy Prius. All right, he found himself a little toy Prius. Yeah, he did. Yes, a hipster. All right, so all the guys were like, oh, a Prius. So he found a great car. It was a great deal. It's great gas mileage. And I needed to go withdraw the money out. Previously, we had been snowmobiling just right before that, and I lost my license. Okay? I lost my license. I got into the bank, and I was like, I'd like to make a withdrawal. Here's my bank card. And they're like, do you have a form of ID? So I was like, well, here's my concealed weapons permit. It's an ID. It's got my license on it. And she said, we can't take that. It's not valid. I said, what? I was like, it's like from Idaho? Is that? She's like, we can't take it. It's not valid. Right? No, it's just a rule. It's just a rule. Right? So, anyway, within that, and it gets to my point here, is that love is validating. You have to have validation for who you are for lots of things. If you go to the bank, you want to set up your electric bill, whatever else. Like at certain times you want to get a passport, you have to have validating materials to do those kind of things. Love is a validation of who you are. Right? Love is a validation of who you are. Let's show our next scripture. Beloved, let us love one another, for love is from God, and everyone who loves is born of God and knows God. For one who does not love does not know God, for God is love. Now that's kind of harsh, isn't it? When I read that, I don't like that verse, never have, really. Because someone can usually come to my mind that I'm not really loving and having a hard time loving. Someone at work, someone in leadership, Donald Trump.
Trump.
All right, so whatever. But again, it's pretty plain and simple. It's a validating thing. When we love, Jesus said, "They will know you're my disciples by what? By your love." So it's validating for you as well as for other people that see you in your life. Love. So, I should have you fill in the blank. Okay, that next blank, it says, why blank, what matters blank. It's supposed to say, why loving what matters, matters. Okay? Why loving what matters, matters. Alright? And the first one is love validates my faith. This is why it's important. It's a validation of your faith, of God working in your life. Okay? And let me tell you, there's times that I had a hard time loving some people. Never forget, my first church district, there was a lady like Kathy Bailey there. Her name was Madge Coon, and her boys were great church planners and all that. Her husband and brother were great church planners and stuff. But she was the most kind, loving person ever on the earth. Like, nothing bad can come out of her mouth. And I remember sitting, and I'm like, I want to be like her. I'm not even close to being like her. But I really, really want that. And that's kind of as far as it went. And every like 5 years or something, that her picture would come to my mind. We have this card that we kept that we hate. But it's good because it means it's a little card that says about faith. That faith is kind of like jumping off something blindly. And usually that card comes out at the worst time for us because we're having to do that. And she gave us that card. And so I remember that, and I'm like, wow, she's really loving, and I just want to be like her. It really was a validation of her faith in God, no matter what she believed. was that. Okay. Next scripture, I think. If someone says, I love God and hates his brother, he's a liar. I don't like that verse either. If someone says, I love God and hates his brother, he's a liar. I mean, this is a great verse for relationships. Alright? For people talk to them and they're in their relationships and just be like, we're having problems, she's a jerk, he's an idiot, she doesn't respect me. How's God? Oh, God's good. We're good with God. Right? It just doesn't really make sense. Okay. He's a liar, for the one who does not love his brother whom he has seen cannot love God whom he has not seen. And this commandment we have from him, that the one who loves God should love his brother. Do me a favor and turn to the person next to you and just tell him to love him.
Hey, buddy. All right, enough mushy.
All right. I don't know if you remember when computers, after the Commodore 64 and computers started to becoming more reliable with things and having internet connections, and you have the dial-up, like if you're using AOL or whatever else, and you click on it and you hear that noise, right? And it was all fine and dandy and everything, and you could do what you would do really slowly, but you still could do it until the thing would disconnect.
Someone called you.
Right? Frustrating disconnect. Because then everything's not working right. When you look at those top 5 things on both of them, sometimes, at least in my own life, I see a huge disconnect. And I think it's important to love what matters as we're looking at things, and that because love integrates my life. It integrates. Because if your life is not integrated, you're just a person with parts and pieces, and I do this, and I do this, and I do this, and I do this, and I have my church life, and when I go home, I have my home life, and no one at church needs to know what I'm really doing at home. Right? I'm really not going to stand in front and even tell them that, what I'm doing at home. And that's like the postmodern worldview. That's Hellenism. That's what they did. I had my segments of life, and things weren't integrated. But love integrates life. It integrates everything together. So it's not just about work, being at home, and then my church life, if I go do something else. It's more integrated. So my financial life, my social life, my sex life, every part of my life is integrated with love. Okay, so it integrates, it binds everything together. Because remember, if the aim of all life is love, then it might look a little bit different at times. And you won't see the list being so different, radically different. Okay? Integrity, of course, means integrated, right? So I'll make sure I understand that. Integrity, having a life of integrity means an integrated life, where it's all working symbiotic, working together. Okay? Let's look at our next verse. Above all, keep fervent in your love for one another, because love covers a multitude of sins. Talk with your neighbor a little bit about what it means to be fervent. Okay? What does fervent mean? Maybe you have to look it up. What's fervent mean? Keep fervent.
Hey, Pastor. Anthony.
Yeah.
You should have used Dottie as the example there. She's a good woman. You should have. She was the epitome of whatever.
Okay, fervent. What's fervent? Passionately. Diligently. Passionately. What's that?
Energetic.
Okay. So keep fervent in your love for one another, which means being passionate and diligent, and what was the other word? Energetic. Like really going out of your way to love. Okay? Really going way out of your way. Fervent, because as we do that, what does it say? Because love covers a multitude of sins. I don't know about you, but I have a multitude of sins. Right? I have a multitude of sins. And so I can trust that, well, one, God, because I've confessed my sins, that He's covered my sins. I don't have those. Right? But also, as I deal with other people, and sometimes this is really hard, but as I'm dealing with other people, if I'm really, even if they're jerky, or whatever it might be, if I go out of my way to love them, it does something different in the relationship. And I'm not the first one to throw a stone at them. Let me just recap a second here. Love validates your faith. Love integrates your life. That was the second one. And love compensates for sins. Okay? Validates, integrates, compensates for sins.
What was number 3 again?
Compensates. Compensates for sins. So it kind of means that, I just have to give people some slack. Because people rub me raw. I'm not perfect. They rub me raw and I have to go out of my way to like, okay, how can I be loving? No, I'm not always successful at it. But I want my life to be integrated. I want to be a person in integrity. Okay? I want love to really be my life. When I was in Salmon, Idaho, there was an old fella, been in the church for years, did a lot of good for people, and I got to spend, probably the last month of his life with him on a daily basis until he passed away. And as he did that, he asked if he could see like his bowling trophies and his awards that he won. And actually, no, he didn't want to see those things. Like, who would want to see those things? Right? You're like, yeah, no. So if you're listening. So, no. I mean, like, who does that on their deathbed? Like, I'm going down. Could you please bring in the 70-inch? I need to see the 70-inch. Can we put that on the wall? No, what are people saying? They're like, I need my kids. I want to see my family.
That's
And
good.
just in short, that this understands that love kind of reverberates forever. Okay? That's the last one on there. It reverberates forever. Because in the end, it's kind of what you'll be remembered for. Unless you come up with a brand new gadget that was as significant as an airplane or the iPod or something like that. Unless you're that guy, really, those that knew you will kind of just know who you were and what you were about. They won't really remember what you had. Okay? So to me it seems like that's the best time. So if we go back to our verse again, go to the next one. But now faith, hope, love abide these three. The greatest of these is love. And I think in the context of it, he said everything else is going to go away in life. Everything else, but the one thing that remains forever is love. Forever love. The love that you have will never leave. Okay? Do you guys know who George McGovern is?
Yeah,
You do?
of course.
That's right, politician.
Yeah,
That's right, politician who's running for president, right?
yeah.
At one point? Yeah.
Why don't-
72 actually.
Wanted to make marijuana legal.
Okay. Well, he had a daughter. He had a daughter that was an alcoholic, who unfortunately, due to her alcoholism, ended up freezing to death in a snowbank. Okay? And after she passed away, he went and looked through her diaries and started contacting people. And come to find out, through the diaries, how terrible of a father he actually was. As the things that she wrote.
Oh boy.
And the one thing that she said in there, she's like, I really miss my dad. Sad, right? And his heart was broken. Like, what? Because he had spent all those years in government and doing this and doing this and doing this, but he never took the time, the real time, to be with someone who's really important, or thought should be important, was his own daughter. That's why love kind of goes on forever and ever and ever. He said if he could do one thing again, he was like, if he could just have that one day back. Sometimes my kids are talking to me and I'm on my phone and I'm trying to finish the text and they're like, Dad, and I'm just like finishing because like guys just focus on the one thing. And so I'm like just trying to finish this and they're like, fine. And then they walk away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait. I'm so guilty of that at times, just being so busy and the kid's right there. Someone said, how do you love on kids and what do you do as a mom and that kind of stuff. Someone was asking me the other day and I was like, you spend time with them. Like, it's really easy to say, you just spend lots of time with them. I'll tell you, if you don't spend time with your kids or with the people that are supposed to be really important with you, eventually they'll be like my kids have been at times and just kind of walk away. And pretty soon they won't ask. They won't ask because they know Dad and Mom are too busy. Or I know my friend is too busy. Or, isn't that what happens? Yeah, all that stuff. That's why I think it's so important to love, because it just goes on forever. It doesn't leave people out. It doesn't leave kids out. It doesn't leave our friends out. That's why I'm thinking, I'm loving it. I'm loving what matters. And granted, there's so many people for me to like try to hang out with, and it's so hard because I enjoy everyone, but I just can't see everyone. It's annoying. But there are some that you can see. I don't know about you, but I have a goal. And I hope that your goal this month, as we're talking about love, is that it wouldn't just be like I've got some more information on love, but that you spend time loving what matters. Okay? Loving what matters. Because it matters. Alright? So I have a little video that we're going to show that kind of sums up this whole thing. A cute little video. And we'll watch that now, and then you guys can come up and sing.
Wait a minute.